Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. Making money. Sorry. A little distraction there. If you like making money, you want to be empowered to have financial freedom, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us get out to all the people on the YouTube. This is Around the Blockchain. We come to you Monday through Friday at 5:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, DZ. Talk about crypto with your favorite people, and today is no exception. We're going to start on that top right corner. We have Gareth Soloway. He called that pump, people. He was on here, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. He said, hey, it's looking like a little support. I'm seeing a little bounce to these levels. It hit those targets almost exactly. Gareth Soloway, really good job on that. Also on that bottom right, Crypto Keeper from Debate Crypto. You definitely got to check out his channel. He had a crypto face on there. And he just did an expose on what politicians are holding some crypto. Some names on there might surprise you. I definitely say check that out. And then on the bottom left, we have Evan Aldo. You can check his YouTube. You see him walking around the swamps of Florida, swamps of South Florida. Maybe you see an alligator in the background. Maybe you see a crocodile. Who knows? And then on the top left, we have one of the emerging stars of Madden online. I heard he's put up some solid numbers in this last 30 or 40 games. So I don't know. Real quick, what is your name on? I believe you're on PlayStation, correct? What's the name they can look out for?
Well, I cannot give it because I'm using my son's.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. We don't.
But when I start the Madden YouTube channel, I'll probably start over with a fresh record.
Okay, all right. Keep an eye out on that. So you better get your reps in now. You better start practicing. But today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin market cap pumping. That's right. The pump is back. There's some big green candles, and we're all liking what we're seeing here. And then we have a new Bitcoin ETF, but this is a Bitcoin mining ETF. It goes live tomorrow morning. So what's going to happen with the markets with that? And are all airdrops a scam? I've got some airdrops. Have you got some airdrops? You might have free money. You might have a scam waiting for you. We're going to get into that. But before we do all that, you know what time it is, everybody. It is time to check out these broader crypto markets. And today is one of those good days where the only thing red is going to maybe be a stable coin. We have Bitcoin up about 5%. We have Ethereum up 4.5%. BNB, everything is looking really good. Wow, look at that XRP. Jeez, that XRP is up 18%, 30% on the week. Now, let's bring it to you real quick, Gareth. We kind of talked about some of your previous channels in the beginning of the episode. I believe you mentioned it was either last week or 2 weeks ago when we had kind of bottomed out. You showed that trend line from the top, you bring down to the bottom. It was matching up perfectly. You gave us some targets. Any updates on that?
Yeah, so been a beautiful day in Bitcoin, or really last 3 or 4 days. And you can see here, this is that channel you were talking about, the parallel lines perfectly connecting the April high to the November high, and then the lows matched up perfectly. So that was the first signal that Bitcoin was likely going to make some sort of move. The second one was this downsloping trend line here, and you could see how it kind of created a wedge pattern between. And ultimately, the power of that bottom trend line, the mirror move from the tops to the bottoms, was more powerful, and Bitcoin was ready to make a move. So short term, you're hitting a little minor resistance right here. You can see this previous pivot right here in the chart. So that's a little minor resistance at 44. I still think this has upside to about 46,000. I will say I took half my Bitcoin position off the table today just to protect profits from being in from the sub 40 level, but I am holding the rest for at least 46,000.
All right, we love to see it. And normally we'd move on, but I want to show this real quick on the chart. We have XRP up 18.5%, almost 20%. Now, Ben, this is a huge pump for XRP. And if you remember your final episode of last week, one of the coins you said on your radar is XRP. You called it, one of your top blue chips. Anything you got to say about this insane pump that we're seeing today?
Yeah, well, we're actually starting to see some movement with the case. I mean, this is the first time since November we've gotten anything from the XRP case. We just found out that the judge Torres in the case, that she basically is not going to allow some evidence against Ripple from the SEC because they say that, it's just not solid enough evidence, and it involves some people outside of the company. And, they're not going to allow it. And I think that that's really good. But just the fact that we're getting something, it's not a coincidence in my mind that the price is starting to move, and now we're starting to get some feedback, some fodder. It just seemed like we were in kind of the the dog days of this case, for so long. And it's definitely really good to see it moving in the right direction. And, for the first thing we hear from the case, just more evidence of what we already know, that, the SEC is in over their skis on this.
Yeah, just throw the XRP army a bone. That's all we're asking. It's just the dog days. Let's throw those X's in the air. And if you like some XRP, go ahead and hit that like button, please. But let's talk about Bitcoin pumping, and pumping hard is what it's doing here. Now, Crypto Keeper, we have Bitcoin pumping. We have Ethereum pumping. They're both up around 15% on the week. Now, typically, over the past 4 years, over the, or so, we'll see a pump with Bitcoin. A lot of times it'll trickle back down to ETH. Then we'll see it in those mid caps, and then we'll see it in the small caps, and then every now and then we'll see it in the meme coins. Is this starting to smell like a little mini altcoin bump to you in the near future?
Excuse me. Man, I don't know. I have been really hesitant this time to go all in on, hey, things are back and we're bullish again. This to me it happened so quick, kind of out of nowhere, with the exception of Gareth Soloway. I think a lot of people were just absolutely bearish that we weren't going to be headed back up. And, people were calling for 30, 20, 10. We had CryptoFace on this past weekend doing bears versus bulls, and he's like super bearish on, on the rest of this year. So I'm kind of hesitant right now. What I will say is that the market looks really healthy. We've been really working hard on trading recently, and we put in a little leverage trade yesterday live with our group, and it was an ascending triangle. It just played out freaking perfect. 15x, had about a 48% win on that. I love that. I don't know. I sure hope so, but I am holding back some of my excitement because this, I don't know. I'm just not sold on it.
All right. Well, Evan, we have people on both sides of the fence, but we're seeing, ascending triangles. We're seeing, trend lines matching up perfectly. Everyone's starting to feel a little bullish. But, as a trader, those who don't know, definitely check out Evan Aldo's channel. He does some great trading on there. Is this when you start saying, you know what, maybe you look over the shoulder, everyone's feeling a little maybe too greedy at the moment? Where are your thoughts at?
I want to show you just a couple things in the charts. There are some rare-ish.
We love some Aldo charts.
Signs. Yeah, rare that haven't come up in a while. So this is kind of my prediction, prediction. I know it's crazy. I think we could see 75 to 80K by the end of May, early June. I think we could close out this month around 53K, and then close out the end of April around 60K, and then have a last leg up to 80K after that. I think we could crash down another 50% correction, because what I want to show you is in the first half of this bull run, we basically would have 30% corrections to come back quick. We had 3 or 4 of those. You can see it better on the 3-day actually. 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty much, and then you did 50% correction, 150% correction, another 50% correction, then recovery upward, then another one. Also, if you look at these snake eyes, these are called snake eyes in Market Cypher on the 3-day down here. If you backtrack, the last time this happened was 2011, and it was huge in terms of what happened. Not saying we're necessarily going to go to the moon because of that, but it's indicative of a trend reversal. Also on the weekly, look at your green dot. The last time this happened, we came up 130%. 130% would bring us right around 75, 80K. And this big trend line, this is the last thing I want to show you. This is huge. Not too many people have talked about this. This is a spider line right here. We bounced off of this twice over the summer in our mini bear market, then bounced off of it again at the bottom of this. So I think we could come up here, and then either once we come up here in 5K, then we'll probably have another 50% correction. Either our bull market is over and it's highly diminished returns from the last bull market, we have one more leg, and then we pass over 100,000.
All right, I want to push
back, but I think it's going to happen.
I want to push back just a little bit on that 3-day chart. We saw the snake eyes, but it looked like the money flow indicator is in the red. Does that concern you at all?
Well, no, because let me just show you real quick. The last time we were in the red on the money, look what happened. Over here, it came way up, and then over here, it came way up. So I think it'll just repeat that pattern. Also, look, guys, they're the same as they were at the bottom of your July mini bear market. So I'm not saying 100% we're going to come up, but I think it's more likely than not. That's what I will say.
All right. Now, Ben, at what point in this market, say some of the people that do like to swing trade, spot trade, when is it okay for you to take some profits?
Well, it's good for you to take profits when you're up, So
Yeah.
basically, if you have an entry point, like let's say you bought in around $30,000, or in the over the summer, or $33,000, or in this, the bottom here, then you're sitting on some nice profits right now, and you got to consider taking that. Now, of course, you may have some long-term bags. Maybe you got a position at $7,000. Well, in that case, it's really up to you. It's just what you want to do. What happens is people will see the price go up to, let's say, 69,000, where it was before. You start counting all the money that you had, and then all of a sudden the price plummets. You're like, man, I wish I would have taken money out at, that price point when things were really high. But the problem is everybody's feeling good. Market's pumping. Nobody wants to do that because you have prospects of it going even higher. But when it does drop, people always wish that they had taken more profit. So I think really developing a profit taking strategy to where, you say, I'm going to take out X number of, X amount of crypto when price gets to, this price, or, I think that's a good way to do it. I think that not going all in on one strategy is always going to be your best thing. So if you are the type of person, you're sitting there like, oh, God, should I pull all my money out? That's probably not what you should do. You should probably pull out some here and there. And then over time, you're going to reap rewards from that, because generally people that are willing to sell all of their crypto, they're doing it at a bad time. And people that are, I guess, did I lose my AirPod here? Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the point being here, take profits, take them early, take them often. But if you're at, $69,000 where you bought in at, then, it may not make sense to take profits right here. You may want, because you don't have any profits, you may want to look more at long-term hodling. That way you're eventually going to get your money back. And then if you have other disposable income to buy on these dips and lower price points, then, that's probably what I would do.
Great advice I got from NFT Update co-host Justin Williams. Put a little bit of Tether in your wallet, even if it's 10% of your smallest bag. It's a half of 1%. You got to get into that mind frame of actually holding some Tether. The first Tether is the hardest Tether. I will say that. Now, Gareth, we saw that descending triangle, or that descending line coming down, and we broke right through that little daily trading channel. Is this a sign where, a lot of people see it? Okay, we broke resistance. We've broken through the channel. I'm all green, bulls are back, hey, but you're exercising a little bit of caution. Is this, where are you landing on us, breaking through that resistance?
So, I mean, that's a big breakout, right? It definitely is. But so I deal in probabilities, right? So everything with charts is probabilities. And what you've seen historically is when you have this very sharp descending trend line with a flatter one on the bottom, the probabilities are that you do break it, because inevitably price would go to zero in a matter of months if it doesn't break this trend line. So to get that move up is important. But the problem is that generally, and again, I'm speaking towards probabilities, what ends up happening is you'll get a move up that maybe goes to this 46,000 level, and then you eventually retrace to the scene of the crime, which was that breakout point. The scary thing about that, if you're, to put the bear case out there, is that this line is descending so fast that in like 2 or 3 months, it's going to be in the low 20,000 range, depending on how long it takes for us to get back down there. So just be a little bit careful. I'm still cautious on this, even though I've been long Bitcoin, over the last couple weeks. I'm definitely on the side of like Ben. I think that advice is just so important in this market environment. You don't have to sell everything, but be smart about it. Be smart about resistance levels, knowing that things can turn on a dime. I'd also just throw out with the Bitcoin mining ETF, think about the last time you had a pump up when an ETF debuted, right? It was October of 2021 when we were hitting 65,000. And I don't put it past these ETF runners to push the market up, to create hype going into the launches, to get people bullish to buy their ETF. I mean, there's definitely some money maneuvering there. And I think investors really just have to be cautious about it.
You're bringing up flashbacks of April when you said that. Yeah, the ETF people trying to pump it up. We are going to be talking about the ETF in a little bit. I want to ask you one last question. Is the Head and Shoulders invalidated now, or is that just jumping off the elbow? with that chart, because I remember we were looking at a Head and Shoulders chart for, leading up for the last, I want to say 60 days or so.
Yeah, so it's actually not invalidated, but we're getting real close to the neckline. So take a look at this, folks. And here you can just really use this trend line right here, and you can see it perfectly connects there, and then through here. And then you actually retrace to it right over here as well. So that's kind of where that 46,000 target comes in, right, with this line here as well. So to me, that's kind of the first big test for Bitcoin. If you're a technician, you're focused laser eyes into that level to see how Bitcoin reacts when you get back to it. Does it dump out again, or can it actually push through? Now, if it pushes through, then the bull case starts looking a lot better, but we have to see if that happens at this point.
When people say TA is a bunch of hogwash, it's a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense. I see stuff like that, and I don't know. Good call, Gareth, last couple of weeks. I will say that. All right, let's get to the lightning round right now. We got a good one here. Let's see. I kind of want to know where people are going to land on this one. What percentage of your portfolio is Bitcoin? Let's start with you, Ben. What percentage of your portfolio is Bitcoin?
We are about 30%.
Okay. All right. Gareth, where do you land?
Before, a couple days ago, I had a total of 70% invested in crypto, 20% was in Bitcoin. As of today, I've pared it back to 10% in Bitcoin, only 6% in alts. So I'm 16% long crypto, only 10% Bitcoin.
Very technical. Crypto Keeper, where do you land in?
I'd have to do the exact math, but I think I'm somewhere between 25 and 35%, somewhere in there.
All right, Evan Aldo, what is your Satoshi percentage?
It's always been 60% for me. Always a slim majority of Bitcoin.
Okay, now if Evan, real quick, if you have an alt that just pumps and pumps like crazy, ends up making a larger percentage of your portfolio, shrinking the Bitcoin percentage, would you sell that for Bitcoin?
Usually I just try to buy more Bitcoin with the stable coins I have on hand to get it out. But yeah, definitely that is one thing I've done, especially buying Matic at 15 cents, took some profits in the Bitcoin. So.
Yeah, I can see that one dwarfing the other ones for sure. All right, let's talk a little Bitcoin ETF now that we're mentioning it. We do have a mining Bitcoin hitting the market tomorrow morning. It's Valkyrie's Bitcoin Mining Exchange Traded Fund. It's going to list on NASDAQ tomorrow at the opening bell. The ticker, you should like the ticker, WGMI. We're all going to make it. And it's the third ETF. The first one, if you remember, was a Bitcoin futures ETF. And then the other one, they called it the Valkyrie Balance Sheet Opportunities ETF, where they had exposure to different companies. Marathon, I want to say it was, they also had Tesla. They had all types. So it was a portfolio of different ones. This one is just specifically mining stocks. Now, Evan, I'm going to just bring it to you first. We have Bitcoin ETFs, mining ETFs, diversified ETFs. Does the retail trader even care, or does even the crypto trader care about these mining ETFs? Who are these mining ETFs for?
Honestly, I would say the ETFs in general kind of defeat the purpose of crypto, because crypto, decentralized, you could trade it 24/7. These ETFs appeal mainly to older people, baby boomers who think they're going to lose their private keys, think they're going to get hacked. They're afraid of that. So it appeals more to them. However, I think they will do well with time. I don't know if they'll do as well as Bitcoin, but I think if Bitcoin stands the test of time, these ETFs will do well. And, it kind of reminds me of like a gold mining ETF or something like that. So I think it'll do well. Should you invest in that as opposed to Bitcoin? I wouldn't. And I think it's probably a stupid idea, but I think they will do well.
All right, well, let's talk about standing the test of time. Now, Ben, these are American Bitcoin mining operations. We had that large exodus from the East. A lot of those mining rigs ended up in America. And we've talked about, they don't need to sell the Bitcoin. They're raising debt. They're selling off stock. They're doing what they can to hold on to this Bitcoin. Would you say this ETF is a vote for American Bitcoin mining prowess into the future? Does this make you bullish for American Bitcoin mining?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, American Bitcoin mining is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, what is the actual percent of mining that's here compared to controlled by China? We don't really know that number because, just because the mining is not actually being done in China right now doesn't mean it's not Chinese mining. They do own almost all of the, hardware that people use for mining. It's made in China. But of course, we've talked about many times how basically the Chinese government dispersed these miners, right? These miners didn't just like show up on the shores of America. Like, China kicked us out. We got our mining equipment in the back. Obviously, I don't know if you know how the CCP works. You have to be given permission to leave. So I don't think these miners are like, hey, CCP, you know what? You said this was illegal, so do you mind if I go to America and do this? No, there's a big way to funnel money back to China. But I do think that, as we do head forward in the future for Bitcoin and mining, America is going to be a major player. I think our politicians are finally waking up to the fact that this is not going away. And we would rather be a major player than, get passed by. We certainly don't want to be, like look at the World Cup. We're always left out of that because we were too late on soccer.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. And like the picture behind Crypto Keeper says, I'm not a player, I just eat a lot. Now, is a mining ETF a good gateway for, those relatives or those friends that are kind of on the sidelines? They don't, you tell them about a seed phrase, they get freaked out. Is this a good way to kind of orange pill a friend of yours or a relative of yours, these ETFs?
Yeah, I kind of disagree on I just want to disagree on one thing that Evan said, just throwing it out there. I don't think that that it defeats the purpose of cryptocurrency. I think it actually ushers people in that otherwise wouldn't be here. So I actually think it's kind of like the helping hand. It's like people don't generally sit down and play chess before they understand at least how to play like checkers, right? They at least get familiar with the layout of the board, and then things get more and more complicated. So yeah, I think it's very easy for me to sit down and talk with my dad, talk with my grandpa, talk with people that are, as a general rule, older than me. I know that's probably hard to believe for all you young guns out there, but they're used to the stock market, and they are used to being able to Monday through Friday, right? They're able to call their broker, like actually on the phone, and say, "Yeah, can you place this order for?" They're used to that, and this allows them to continue to do that. I think the cool thing is that it opens up the whole discussion, and it's like they're talking about Bitcoin. Now, all of a sudden, the question then becomes, okay, I've got indirect exposure. I mean, do you think I should have like real deal exposure? And I think it's going to be a stepping stone, and it's not going to happen all at once. As you've seen, these different ETFs have been opening, and we're working our way towards an actual spot ETF. And again, that's still all taking them right up to the edge and then grabbing them and pulling them back. And what we really want to see is them taking the leap and saying, you know what, I'm actually going to have real deal exposure to Bitcoin. I'm going to hold hardware wallet, or at least hold it on an exchange. So I think it's baby steps, and it's taking them towards getting there.
I like that little domino step, little baby step. Shout out to my uncle Steve. He just jumped in around Christmas. So shout out to you, Steve. Good job. You're happy now. All right. Final question on this topic. Gareth, we like crypto, obviously, because we like some risk. I'm not talking about the board game, although I do like the board game as well. Always take Australia. So with these mining ETFs, are they more or less volatile to Bitcoin? So when Bitcoin goes up, do they go up more? Do they go up less? For the people who want a little either more risk or less risk, is this attractive to them?
I expect for it to follow kind of what the gold miners follow. So gold itself might go up 1 or 2% a day. The miners usually rally 3 or 4%. So it's usually around 2 times, or 1.5 to 2 times. So I do think people need to be aware of that, that the volatility could be pretty high. But I agree with Crypto Keeper that, anything that's going to allow older investors who are skeptical on crypto to maybe dabble in an ETF, which they're very, there's so many ETFs for everything these days. I think that makes it a more positive experience. Hopefully they make money in it, right? And then they'll be more apt to maybe invest in crypto directly. But definitely I'd anticipate it be a little bit more volatile. There's a stock actually, Marathon Digital, which is kind of in that field, right? And the stock topped out at something like $85, and it recently was under 20. So that just shows you the volatility. If you map that up to Bitcoin, it's quite a bit more of a drop than what Bitcoin experienced.
Yeah, always a big fan of Marathon, MARA, if you want to check that out. They own a Canadian power firm. I don't hold any, but I used to. I sold probably slightly before May. And I'm glad I got rid of it because, like you said, it is a multiplying effect on that risk. So yeah, I would have rode that all the way down to the bottom. But let's talk about some scams. Talking about coming up from the top, dropping to the bottom. We got some airdrops hitting. I know personally I've had an airdrop from playing Gods Unchained at one point over $15,000. Speaking of writing it down, I think I wrote it all the way down to 5,000, but I'm bullish on the team. If you've ever had an airdrop, you like free money, hit that like button. But airdrops, they're unique to crypto on some level with Web3. You use an ecosystem, you use a platform, you sign up with your wallet, they'll remember, and then they'll airdrop tokens into your wallet as long as you're, not in the United States, that is. They're happening all the time. Some people are saying, are they worth the trouble? Are they worth the gas fee? There's, a lot of them. Some people are saying, watch out, there could be scams. Now, Ben, free money, it just sounds a little too good to be true. What's the purpose of an airdrop? Why would they give me free money?
So an airdrop is a way for a project, a crypto or a token or whatever, to disperse its supply without having to have a sale. Because, when you have a token sale, I mean, look at what Ripple's going through, right? There's all kinds of fancy ways to get around it with the IDOs and the ICOs and yada, yada, yada. But the long and the short of it is the most fair way to launch a token and not be a cash grab is to do an airdrop. Now, it's not for everybody. I mean, some people, they say, hey, here's the thing. I worked very hard on this project. I want there to be a sale because I feel like there is really value there. But, I know for us, like we have the BIT token, we airdropped it. That was what we did because, we don't want to be seen as like, hey, we got this big sale. People come buy this from us. No, we just disperse it to the community. We let the value set the price. And it's more of a natural way to set a market. It's a natural way to set a market. The demand, the supply and the demand will reveal itself very quickly. So that's why projects do it, to kind of avoid, getting in trouble. Now, there are some, projects that have done it for marketing purposes. And there's some that have done it, for other reasons, but the vast majority, that's why they do it. It's a fair launch, as opposed to, other types of launches out there. Now, for a lot of these airdrops, when I say fair launch, like, yeah, it's fair if you meet the qualifications. I mean, some of them, like the Sologenics one, you had to, hold XRP at the time of the snapshot and yada, yada, yada. So, there are some qualifications that separate people that will be able to get the airdrop from those that don't, but it doesn't cost you anything to get those airdrops.
All right.
And
now,
I think one quick point on this, the reason why I think a lot of people are skeptical about airdrops, you should be skeptical about airdrops. The vast majority of them are not ever going to do anything. We do have rare occurrences, Uniswap being, probably the biggest example where it turned into a lot of money. And, congratulations to everybody who got that Uniswap airdrop. You got it by using Uniswap. It was pretty simple. I had like 6 or 7 addresses that got it at that time, which was pretty phenomenal. But the thing is, in crypto, the money's already it's already too good to be true in a lot of ways. So I think that, really creates an interesting dichotomy there where people are, still in that mindset of saying, well, if it's too good to be true, but I know people are making money, then I might as well get this airdrop. But some of these airdrops come with, some sketchy stuff where they're actually trying to get information from you. So the vast majority of airdrops you get probably will never be worth anything.
all right. Well, Crypto Keeper Ben kind of brought up the prime example there, but what are some of the successful airdrops that, didn't end up being a rug or didn't end up, just trying to fish information from you? Is there any airdrops, that you say, look, this is, kind of stood the test of time. I think we can positively say this is not a scam.
Man, to be honest with you, I'm not going to have a good answer for you on that. I'll tell you the airdrop.
Yeah, he used the best one there, Uniswap. There, he stole your
right.
Well,
that's literally what I was going to say was Uniswap. I don't have a good answer for you on that, other than, I'm still waiting with bated breath on the Spark token airdrop. That has been, I honestly don't know what, I haven't investigated it deep enough to have probably a very intelligent conversation on the matter, but I have asked a few of my XRP Maxi friends what's going on with it, and it's getting pushed back. And I think we see that a lot in crypto. The thing that, that Ben was touching on in terms of like, hey, a lot of them are a scam. You got to be careful. And this is what people need to understand. You really need to understand who's behind the airdrop? Is it someone or an entity that you feel that you can trust? Because the reality is, when you click the button to basically accept the terms of these contracts, you don't know what that button actually is doing in the background on your computer, right? So just like they've got some scams right now with MetaMask, where you think that you're, just accepting to connect your MetaMask to a, to the website that you're getting onto, but what you're really doing is saying, hey, you guys can have control of this wallet, and then all of a sudden someone will jump on and say, wait a minute, where did my crypto go? And so I think with airdrops, I got the Solo airdrop recently. I was not even looking for it. I forgot that it was even coming, and then it was just there, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I will not personally go after an airdrop, because I think it preys on that primal greed. I think that a lot of these airdrops are more for marketing, and I think that they prey on this idea that someone thinks that they're going to get free money. And when people think they get free money, they will make irrational decisions, and they will do things that they wouldn't otherwise normally do. And so that's why I will not chase after an airdrop. If there's an airdrop that just comes to me as a result of using a platform like Uniswap, or with the Sologenics airdrop, like it just happened to have XRP where it needed to be, then fine. But I'm not chasing after them. I just can't see it making sense.
So, like, similar to the Solo airdrop, it has to fall into your Han. Okay. All right. Sorry, I had to do that.
Hey, that was a good one. That was actually a good one, DZ. I like it.
Still was pretty bad. Gareth, we're seeing this controversy with OpenSea. They hired somebody that had previously taken companies public, and the market took that as, we are no longer getting an airdrop. LooksRare is a famous OpenSea competitor. If you'd use OpenSea X amount of times, everybody was just airdropped. I think they airdropped between 10 and 20% of their equity to users of OpenSea. Now, when OpenSea hired that person, they said, oh, they're going public. They're not doing an airdrop. Are these two things mutually exclusive, and why?
That's a good question. I mean, first of all, being 41, I'm a little on the older side of a lot of crypto investors. And when I hear airdrop and free money, I'm thinking, where's the Nigerian prince offering to send me 20 million? Is this, it feels like some sort of thing, like you guys are saying, where I'm going to click this button, they're going to take my computer over, drain my accounts. So I think, just going back to what we were talking about older investors, those type of things, there has to be a lot of education done. And if there's some burning going on of people, they have to be really careful. In regards to hiring someone that potentially could bring a company public, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I mean, is like you guys are saying, if the airdrop is being more of a gimmick, maybe that's the better avenue to take, where you get some credibility with bigger investors, with Wall Street, if you will. And again, some people would say, well, we don't want those Wall Street people in there. But bottom line is, they're going to be looking to get in, and you actually do want big money in projects like this. So it's an interesting, concept. I hadn't heard much about it, but they're very interesting.
Yeah, not only do you want that older money, and not every 20-year-old prodigy with coding is going to be a good CEO. Not everyone's going to be a CZ, not everyone's going to be a Vitalik. So sometimes it's okay to have someone with 20, 30 years experience in the industry. Now, Evan, last question here. Who is benefiting more from an airdrop? Is it the protocol that's kind of almost vampire attacking a whole user base, or is it the users who just received free money, just received the equity of a random company, essentially? So who benefits most, the companies or the users?
It's the companies. Let's be real. I mean, why would the companies do it if they're not trying to get some benefit out of it? It's a win-win. I mean, I compare it to credit card rewards, cutting coupons, all these type of things. Sure, if you do your research and you really spend hours and know exactly what you're looking at, you can benefit from it, or you could get really lucky. I mean, I know a friend who made, I think, 20 grand off the ENS airdrop, I believe, for having the .eth domain name. So that was big. It's a lot of luck. It depends what you're into. I mean, if you have the research and the time to really make sure you're not going to get scammed out of this, then by all means do it. But for somebody like me, I just don't have the time and patience to really look into it too much. I view it like cutting coupons, or like looking at all the possible rewards you can get when you're trying to buy something. It just isn't worth my time personally. It's a personal decision.
That is honestly probably a great comparison. I'm sure when coupons first came out, people said, what do you mean 5 cents off? That's clearly a scam. They're raising the price 6 cents, you sucker. So I'm sure, at all times in history, you try to give people value. Someone's going to push back and say, yeah, but where's the lick? I'm the lick. I don't see the lick. I'm the lick. So that is all we got time for today. And it does seem like Ben Armstrong just edged it out from Crypto Keeper. It was a great episode. I think it was brought up the XRP. We got a little passionate about it. But Ben, go ahead and leave us with some parting thoughts, Madden Champion.
Yeah, well, crypto is looking favorable. It's going up right now, and people are excited. But just if the last 4 or 5 months have taught us anything, it's that this is as unpredictable of an asset class as you can imagine. And in the previous months and years, we kind of had a baseline, like a guide, these Bitcoin cycles to go by to determine where things are going. But now it seems like all of that is really out the window. And what I would say at this point is just remember, anything can happen. Anything is possible. Your best case scenario, it can happen. But also, worst case scenario could happen as well. So you guys be careful out there. Don't just start FOMOing in because people are talking bullish again. I would definitely say, look for positions and be smart. But, don't get a case of the FOMO right now.
Do not get a case of FOMO, DYOR. And that is all we got time for today, Bisquad. Until next time, DZ out.